Mercury is not a terrestrial planet. It is a terrestrial planet. During the month of September is the best time to see the constellation. I don't know. Alright everybody, welcome back to my second devlog. I've been on vacation for the past week, and from sunup to sundown, every single day I spent all my time working on Know Your Cosmos. I have made updates all across the board with this app. From the iOS app itself, to the backend server, the database, I've created a new website, I've updated my existing website. So much to show you, let's jump right in. First, we'll start off by showing you the brand new Know Your Cosmos icon. That's right, Know Your Cosmos gets a facelift. The reason I got a new logo is simply because the original icon was not mine. I didn't own it. So here's my original icon. I'm sad to see it go, but I'm excited to show off this brand new icon. I used the website Fiverr to source this icon. I love this website. This artist gave me 10 different icons to choose from, and he was willing to work with me until I was happy. Here on the iPhone simulator, I have the icon. I just think it looks so great. I think it pops, and I think it really embodies my goal with this app, so super pleased with it. Not only does this icon really help the app pop on the menu screen of the iPhone, but when you start the app, you get an elegant loading screen of the black version of this icon. And then we get a seamless transition into a black background application. I love the transition from the white icon to the black logo into the black app. I just think the flow really works. The logo I think was a huge success. Please in the comments let me know what you think. I hope you love it. So I was able to take this icon and sort of make it the branding of this application. I was able to do this by creating a new website, which is something I've been wanting to do. If you go to www.knowyourcosmos.com, ta-da, my brand new website is up and running. You'll see in the background a very translucent version of this icon. Really helps with the branding of the whole application. I honestly really love this simple and elegant website. My goal with this website was to have a lightweight, clean and elegant landing page to get people from the internet to my application. I have 3 features on this website I really love. Number 1, the server status displaying live is actually hitting the server and determining if the server's live or not. I think this is fun because it kind of puts me to the test. If my server comes down and somebody happens to hit the website and it says down, that's kind of embarrassing. But I'm confident in my app. It's been running for months now without issue. So I'm very prideful about my app, and I have the live status symbol up in the center of my website. The second thing I love about this website is the download icon. It's very basic, but it gets you right to the download page, so very cool. The third thing I love about this website is just that the leaderboard is front and center. If you don't even know what Know Your Cosmos is, when you see a leaderboard, you're intrigued. I think the usernames are cool on the leaderboard, and I think it might draw people into the next step, which is to actually download the app, because that's our goal. We want downloads, we want people to use the app, we want that leaderboard to continue to update, and we want those numbers to grow. A final tidbit I find cool is just that I have my Trello public for people to see what I'm working on. So you can see what recently was released. You can see what's coming up to be released. So on the 11th, I have a few cool updates coming out, and you can see what I'm working on. So pretty cool. Put everything right out there for everybody to see. What am I working on? What's the status of the app? All right, so on to my next update. I have increased the number of questions from 100 to 730 questions. And in this update, I was also able to pick up on some trends of some weird misspellings, some odd characters that were out of place, and just some overall maintenance to the questions. Our goal is to be as clean and as elegant as possible. This app needs to be perfect, and that's what we're striving for. So spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes, weird characters, those are off the table. Moving on to the main event. My goal over the past week has been to give people a clean and true quiz game experience. I don't want people memorizing questions and getting it right without actually learning. And I also don't want people Googling their questions to get them right to get to the top of the leaderboard. That's right. I said Googling their questions. Who would do such a thing? I will show you who did such a thing. Well, for starters, let's kick back the leaderboard to the beginning of the time to see who the #1 Cosmos player is. Because of this recent update, I've created a concept of a leaderboard cutoff date, which means from this date forward, new games have the ability to make it to the leaderboard. And I did that because we had no timer and we had only 100 questions. Now we have a brand new game. We have a timer and we have over 700 questions. So it's a new game. I thought it was appropriate to reset the leaderboard. But let's go back and see what it was. You'll see it's Mr. Glarvin, Mr. Space Glarvin. Mr. Glarvin happens to be a friend of mine, but take a look. Mr. Glarvin was spending almost 40 seconds a question on this game. What do you think he was doing in 40 seconds? Do you think he was meditating until the answer appeared in his brain, or do you think he was using some outside resources to get these answers? I'm with you. I think the man was Googling. I love that he caught this, because without these situations happening, sometimes you don't know what features you need or don't need. Because of this, we created the concept of a timer. So here's the app, as you guys know it. We'll be Skillful Inspector. There's Mr. Glarvin at the top of the leaderboard. Valles Marineris, a canyon on Mars, is located. I know this one to be the equator. But take a look at the timer. That's the point of this update. We have 15 seconds. Mr. Glarvin, in his 40 seconds, that just won't cut it anymore. So imagine I ran out of time. Let's see what happens. The timer's going. 1, 0. Oh! Grand Canyon was the answer. So, if you run out of time, your run is over. Now, I had 3 concerns while making this update. My first concern was the ability to update the timer without having to do a new app release. I believe storing this value on the server and sending this value to the user is the much better solution. Allow me to demonstrate. The timer length was 15 seconds. Let's change that to 8 seconds because people are really smart. Without restarting the app, I'm simply going to start a new round. At the top, you'll see 8 seconds. It's that easy for me to control the amount of time per question. Alright, I changed all the data back. I think a good takeaway is make everything configurable. The less you hard code, the better. If it has the ability to change in the future, make it as easy as possible to change it in the future, rather than hard code it and then deal with the mess you have to go through to make that change later. The second concern I have is the ability of users to pause the timer to basically sidestep it. This was tricky. Now, I've done the work to prevent this, but allow me to demonstrate what was possible if I wasn't careful. A user could read the question, what gives Mars its red color? Imagine you didn't know that. You minus your app. I go over to Google. Okay, here you see iron, oxidized iron. So, we have the answer. The app is in the background. What gives Mars its red color? Rusted iron. I'm going to run the app and quickly go click that answer. Okay, well, I obviously wasn't able to, but that was a problem. So I had to get a little bit creative in order to prevent that. Okay, so let me try to explain this the best I can. This is a really cool concept. We have the concept of a timer. Let me show you how the timer works in this class. The timer notifications come in at a certain quantity of time. So you can see with my cursor, we care about the 100 millisecond in the 1,000 millisecond mark. So every 1 second, we update timer. What that means is we update the game timer to decrement the amount of time. So 15, 14, 13, and so on. That's this bit of code here on 116. My solution was to use 2 timer intervals. The 1 second timer to do the decision making about how much time has passed, and then the 100 millisecond timer just to check a very specific piece of code to see if that timer did in fact hit 0. Let's go take a look. So 10 times a second, we check this function. If an integer is less than the number 0. There is no penalty there. That is a zero cost method. There is no penalty in calling that 10 times a second. However, if we look at this update timer method, what this is doing is a lot more work. It's getting the current time, it's getting the last time it checked, it's doing a math equation to figure out the change in time. If there was in fact a change of time, it's making a UI update, it's doing all sorts of work. That's a very expensive function to do 10 times a second. So what I did is I separated the two. The 100 millisecond has a very, very trivial check to see if the game is ended, and the 1000 millisecond is a little bit more expensive UI related update to actually change that number from 15 to 14 to 13 and so on. So that is how I defeated the ability for users to cheat when they bring the application back up. Unless they can answer that question in the 10th of the second, the round is over. Okay, more code, more fun. Let me show you my server update. We started the server. Let's go ahead and run a test class. Ready? All 61 tests passed. So what was the update? The update is the server now sends a timer to the client. If the server does not send the timer, the client is waiting for a timer and bad things will likely happen. This highlighted segment of code is where I made the change. We make a new game request here on line 739. We get a new challenge. So that's my API endpoint. I say, hey, node server, new challenge, please. What it does is it responds with a couple critical pieces of data. Number one is the attempt ID, so what your unique ID for this game is. Then we have this new element, the challenge mode timer. The challenge mode timer must be supplied from the server to the client, so then the client knows how many seconds per question. So what did I do? I check if the response holds this JSON element, challenge mode timer length, and if it doesn't, then bad things happen. So why don't we do some fun? Let's print that value just to drive home what we're getting back. Oh, that's not where that goes. Of course. Let's run the test again. 15 seconds was sent from the server. That is how I did this development. I tested first, I wrote a failing test, and the test passed once this data came through. Sort of test-driven development-esque approach. Prove that it doesn't work, write code until it does work. Once that test passes, you can have confidence that the feature works to the extent that you've tested it. Alright everybody, so that's the extent of this update. It was a lot of work. Hopefully this video demonstrated some of the pros and cons in the approach that I took for some of these decisions. Jupiter has a series of massive counterclockwise rotating storms that appear as white ovals. These are known as string of pearls. Although this space station was never built, in 1993 NASA redesigned their idea for the first US space station known as Space Station 1. Oh! Alright everybody, that was a good run. I hope you enjoyed the update. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing. More content to come. And please, as always, Leave comments below. Let me know how I can improve my app or these videos. My goal is to educate, my goal is to entertain, and my goal is to have fun and learn on my behalf. Thanks everybody. Take care.